God, what a great space, eh?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's huge, isn't it?
Now this was known as Odeon 2, and the capacity of this cinema was 1,200.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's 14 years this month since the closing credits rolled for the very last time at the Bradford Odeon. Since then, nearly everything has been stripped out of this auditorium, but there are still a few eerie reminders of the past.
What film was that? Has anyone worked it out?
The Odeon opened as a 3,300-seat theatre in 1930, the biggest outside of London. In 1969 it was converted into 3 smaller cinemas and a bingo hall, and the 1930s fittings were walled over. Much of what does remain feels relatively modern. A cinema locked up in July 2000 and then abandoned.
Nearly any building can be restored. It's about finding a really good, viable option for it. There's no point in just restoring a building for restoration's sake. It's got to have a proper use to it. It's got to have a viable use, otherwise in 30 years' time it'll be in the same condition again.
The Odeon is now owned by Bradford Council, who've accepted it could be saved. 2 plans have been put forward by independent groups. Bradford Live want it to be a commercially run live music venue, capable of holding 4,000 people, the 3rd largest such space in Yorkshire. Bradford One, meanwhile, envisage a smaller venue combined with community facilities and student flats. The council will reveal if it backs the ideas in November, but it'll cost in the region of £20 million to turn eye-catching images into reality.
In the last 10-15 years, I think we've realised that the opportunity to recycle old buildings and create beautiful new ones using the old structure has a huge amount of potential. People have got huge emotional connections with buildings like this, and by saving them and giving them a new lease of life and restoring them at the same time is brilliant for any town or city as far as I'm concerned.
The impression I was getting from the feedback that George was giving us is that had he thought that any redevelopment of this building, that it was a non-starter, he would have actually said so. To the contrary, he was actually quite excited by certain aspects of the building that he saw, and he just wants to be kept abreast of developments, and I think he does generally have a real interest in this building.
Bradfordians have become familiar with the dilapidated exterior of the Odeon, and it is in an even worse state inside. But this restoration expert believes the 1930s relic could and should be saved. Spencer Stokes, BBC Look North, Bradford.